I absolutely adore how you guys keep coming back again and again and again for more wisdom and advice from me. Like, it actually means the world. I never ever thought that I would have my own podcast and YouTube channel, let alone people actually listening and following my guidance. So I really, really appreciate you being here. And also, I want to congratulate you for being here and showing up for yourself, because the fact that you bring yourself to these episodes and you listen to the wisdom really means that you want to develop yourself and better yourself, which is incredible. So, yeah, I just wanted to start that episode by saying that. So, how your sadness can be your fuel. And this has kind of been inspired by what's going on in the world currently. There's a lot of darkness going around at the moment in regards to everything that's happening in Israel and Palestine. I'm not going to get into the whole situation there. Like, that's just a complete other topic. But it kind of made me reflect on the sadness that I've experienced in my own life, and how sadness is actually the beginning of change, really. There is sadness that we experience in life in general, and in order to alleviate the sadness that we feel, change needs to take place. Yet many of us stop at the point of sadness, or we feel the sadness and we think that it's just going to go away. Like, we've identified that we feel sad and it's just going, oh, it's fine, we'll just put it under the carpet, it's okay, we'll keep going on as we go on, it will all be okay tomorrow. We've all heard that before. But the thing is, the more and more we put things under the carpet, the more there is not going to be any carpet left. And we will get to the point that there is no carpet left, and then what's going to happen? Everything that was under the carpet is just going to come flooding back out again. And instead of feeling the sadness piece by piece by piece, it's full on. And I'm not putting you down for this, because I did exactly the same thing. Like, I've done exactly the same thing a number of times in my journey, not just once, because none of us are truly given a guide of how to process our emotions. None of us are actually shown how to not only understand the emotion, but how to process it and understand that every emotion has a lesson behind it. None of us are taught that. Like, seriously, it blows my mind, the wisdom that I've gained in the last 3 years and how it's not taught in schools. And this is why I actually feel like I'm here, actually, because it's like this information needs to come out in the world. Like, we need to become so much more better people with this wisdom. Like, it's like a gold mine. Honestly, I swear to God. Anyway, so yeah, many of us do not understand that there is a lesson behind sadness. Like, sadness is teaching us something. And it's only when we truly get to the root of what sadness is teaching us, can we actually use it as fuel to go forward. And it's at the point that I feel sad that we stop. And the main reason is because we don't know what to do with it. But how about if I told you that your sadness is actually teaching you what you truly desire, what you truly want in that moment, and why you are experiencing sadness, because what you want is not being given to you, or you're not finding that. And this is the thing, when we feel that we're stuck, because this is what happens, we get stuck in life, then we get sad, and we witness things that are going on in our life that we're not happy with. And then it's like, well, I've just got to put up with it. And you do not have to put up with it, okay? Like, I am here to tell you, you do not have to put up with it at all. Like, do you actually truly believe that the creator of this earth put you here for you to put up with the situation that you're in and the sadness that you're experiencing? No, he didn't. Like, if you are brought to this podcast and you are brought into my energy, I can tell you right now that I truly believe that you are one of the creator's strongest soldiers. And I say that with full belief that you are. Because many of us look at our life and ask ourselves, like, why am I going through all this pain? Why have I had so much pain in my life? Like, I know that I'm a good person. Why am I experiencing so much pain? Why is life so hard? But do you know what I've read time and time again during my challenging moments? I always have this quote come up that God gives his biggest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I want you to remember that. God will never give you, or the creator will never give you something that's too big for you to handle. And you may find right now in this present moment that it's too big because you need to grow through it. Not be a version of yourself in order to win, but to grow through the battle to then come through it winning the other side. You know, it's like a soldier doesn't know his strength until he's at battle. He can train as much as he wants, but until he's out on that battlefield, that's when the fuel comes in. That's when the adrenaline and the courage and the inner strength comes in during the battle itself. You can prepare as much as you can, but until something finally goes ahead, that's when you find your true strength, and that's when you use the fuel that the sadness is teaching you. Through everything, through all the transitions that I've been through in my life, it always begins with a level of sadness that I'm experiencing. As example, before I moved here to Egypt, the sadness that I experienced at that time was the divorce of my mum and dad. So with them splitting up and me no longer having my family unit, that sadness was quite overwhelming. And what did I desire in that moment? I desired happiness. I desired a family unit. And it was at that point that I met my partner back then, and a new beginning was created. So that transition came from the pain of my mum and dad splitting up. Then the end of the relationship that I was in with my partner at the time, that came through sadness of me losing myself. I got to the point one day that I look in the mirror and I didn't recognize the woman that was looking back at me. And I actually, instead of feeling sad about the relationship not being what I wanted it to be, I actually experienced sadness for the person that I was looking at in the mirror. Like, that wasn't Jade anymore. And I was sad that I'd let that happen to me. And I think a lot of women can relate to that. Like, we look at the situations that we get ourselves in and we're like, how the hell did I end up here? Like, this is not me. This is not who I am. Why? How have I got to this point? And you've got to that point for a reason, because there's deeper lessons for you to learn within this sadness. And especially at the end of a relationship, when you experience that sadness. So at that point when I experienced sadness to a whole new level of seeing what I'd done to myself and how I'd let myself go, I learned, number one, that the only thing I desired in that moment was happiness. I didn't know what that looked like, but I desired happiness. That was it. But inward happiness. That's what I desired. And I wanted the happiness to shine through my eyes. That was the one biggest thing that amount of sadness taught me. And then the more and more I was thinking about the sadness that I was experiencing, it was also teaching me what I no longer wanted in a relationship and what I actually desired, what I needed from a relationship in order for me to be the best version of me. And this is the thing, many of us step into relationships actually not knowing what we want. We just believe that, oh, it's love, that's it. But there's certain things that we require in order for us not to lose ourselves. And it's only through the sadness of a breakup can we truly learn the lessons of what we actually desire in a relationship going forward. And it's only when we take the time out after a relationship breakdown can we truly learn the lessons that the sadness and the hurt is there to bring us. Because if we are not looking at these lessons and the wisdom that is held in that, number one, we're just going to keep going in the same cycle. And number two, we're not going to have our fuel to create the new beginning. Like if I didn't have the fuel of wanting to be happy, I actually don't believe that I would be where I am today. That fuel and that target to keep me going on that journey was essential. And this is what I say to all of my clients. Like when they first start working with me, most of them come to me in a place of sadness, a place of pain, a place of brokenness. And I always ask them, what is it now that you desire going forward? And they'll tell me exactly the type of woman that they want to be. And then I'll ask them, and how does that feel? And once they've identified all of that, I say to them, use that as your fuel. This is now your fuel to never go back to that place again. Sadness is taking you to a place. It's taking you all the way down to gain fuel in order for you to go back up again. But the thing is, you're not going to go back up again unless you collect enough fuel to propel you up. And this is where the work comes in. This is where your choice comes in. Of you taking the choice to find that fuel and to use it and not get trapped in the sadness cycle. Because this is the thing, when we are experiencing sadness and depression and anxiety, we'll keep flipping and flipping and flipping. We'll keep going in the same cycle, and it's up to us to break it. It's up to us to go and ask for the support that we require. It's up to us to speak to the people around us about what's truly inside. And if we don't feel that there's anyone around us to do so, then we can then go further afield, as example, to people like me or to therapists. We can go further afield to be able to gain the support that we desire going forward. And the most important thing is for you to learn those lessons of sadness and use it as your fuel. That fuel is what's going to get you to where you want to go. It's so incredibly powerful to use that, because it will get you to where you desire to be. And I'm not telling you that you're never going to experience sadness. Of course you are. But the thing is, once you understand how to deal with sadness once, you can deal with it time and time and time again. Because you just use the wisdom that's coming through the emotion. So it could be, as example, say you're in a relationship right now and you're not happy. You are sad with how the relationship itself is making you feel, and you desire to get out. You desire happiness with someone who truly loves you, and that is your driving force to get out. And you manage to get out and you heal, and then you experience sadness at work. So what is the previous sadness, the lessons of the previous sadness teaching you in that current situation with work? Well, it's teaching you what is happiness to you now. If you're not currently happy in your job right now, what is making you sad? What is not lighting your soul on fire? And once you ask yourself those questions, you will then identify what is it actually that you want. And once you understand what you want, you can use that fuel to then direct you in where you want to go, to take you out of the sadness that you're experiencing. Sadness can be on a small level or on a huge level. Either one, it has wisdom inside. And it's up to you to take that wisdom. You are the one that can change your life, no one else. No one else can change your life. No one else can make you happy apart from you. You can think that other people can make you happy. But the thing is, if you, inside of you, feel sad, no matter what anyone does around you, that feeling of sadness is still going to be there. And it's up to you to really... It's up to you to really take control of every single situation that you've experienced sadness in. Because in order for you to alleviate the sadness within, it's about you actually processing it. Because believe it or not, every single situation that we've felt sad and we've not expressed that sadness, that's all built up within. And the more and more it builds up within, the more and more we will then start to have medical problems. Because emotions are energy. And if energy itself is not moving through the body and it's not expressed correctly, blockages happen. And when the blockages happen, that then manifests as physical illness. That is my truth. That is what I believe. It may not be true to you, and that's perfectly okay. But I'm just planting a seed for you to understand that when emotions are not processed, they are stored in the body. And in order for you to really experience the happiness you desire, it's about you finding the strength to process the sadness that you've experienced in the past. And I know that many of you might be listening to this thinking, do you know what? I don't want to go near the past. Like I've locked the door on that one. I don't want to go there anymore. I've done it. And I'm going to kind of be honest with you. The fact that you don't want to go there actually is showing how much you need to go there. It's showing how there is still wisdom there and there is still emotions that need to be processed. And it's only when you process those emotions and you allow your inner child to express herself and allow those tears to come out, can you then actually start to truly move forward in that. And truly understand the wisdom of the sadness of the past. Because there's many different situations that have happened in your past that you've experienced sadness in because you believed it was your fault, when in reality it was never your fault. And because you thought it was your fault, it robbed you of your happiness at that point. But your happiness didn't need to be robbed. And it's only when we revisit those times in the past and we actually take back the happiness that was robbed from you at that point, can you then begin to be a happier person right now? Because again, it's all with your childhood self. Your childhood self unconsciously is always there. She's always acting out. She's always around. So if you look back at your childhood and you found yourself that you was quite sad as a child, that will then impact the person that you are today. And if you desire to be happy, like inwardly happy and at peace with yourself, that means transforming and using the sadness of the past as your fuel, not only to give you happiness in your past by understanding the truth of what went on, but by doing so, not only are you impacting the past, you're impacting the present version of you, because you're giving the happiness back to the child that you once was. Like, that right there is just boom. Like, we don't realize how important this childhood version of us is within us. All we desire to do is be our playful self that we was as a child. And it's only when we give that happiness and that playfulness back to her can we start to truly be happy right now. Sadness has so much wisdom inside. And once we understand what sadness is teaching us, it can truly be the fuel to transform your life. Like, I can't tell you the amount of women that have worked with me that have transformed themselves because of the sadness that they've experienced. Because they've used that sadness as the fuel to create their new beginning. So now the question is for you, the sadness that you are truly experiencing right now, how can you use that as your fuel to create your new beginning? How can you use your sadness right now as a fuel for everything that you desire in your life? How is your sadness right now going to fuel the change that you need to make? Because it's when you get those answers, can you truly start to shift out of the sadness and into the happiness that you truly desire. So that's it for today. I hope my wisdom has helped you in your journey for where you're at. If you know someone else out there who is struggling with sadness and needs to hear this episode, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could share it with your friends and family. And as always, keep shining, keep smiling, my beautiful souls, and I will see you on the next episode.